No one's here yet, but hello. We're from Pike County Extension Fine Arts. We're going to paint this moonlit landscape today with y'all. We'll give everyone a few minutes to hop on, but this video will be viewable afterwards, so no pressure if you can't watch the whole thing right now. My name is Emily Nelson. I'm Fine Arts Program Assistant here at Pike County Extension Fine Arts.
I'm Kristy Porter. I'm the Pike County Fine Arts agent. This is our first live video, so
yeah,
cut us a break.
Our first live of all time, so yeah. We're really excited, and we hope you are too. We gave out 40 kits yesterday, and they were almost all gone. So
yeah, we only had 2 left, so we're really excited about the turnout.
The 2 left are the ones we're using. Yep. So we'll go ahead and get started here soon. You all can filter in as you can and watch the video later. You know, a painting doesn't have to be done all at once. You can come back to it tomorrow or the weekend, whenever you have time to do it. A few things I would recommend you get on hand besides the paint and canvas and brush. Oh, maybe we should unplug that.
Yeah.
It's live. So grab a cup of water would be handy to have, some paper towels, a plate or something else to mix on. And we gave y'all a brush. If you have a couple others, that would be great to have too, but not necessary. But a flat brush like this would be handy to have. This is the brush we gave everybody. So a brush like this. And yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get started.
If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll be checking every so often to see if anybody has any questions, and I'll also be following along with Emily, painting with you guys.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
Yep. And we also really would love for you to send us pictures of your final paintings so we can share them with everyone on our Facebook. Okay, you ready, Kristy?
I'm ready.
So when you're working with acrylic paint, you want to start from the background and work your way to the foreground. So we'll start with the sky first, and we're going to work on that gradient first, and then we'll do the mountains on top of that, and then we'll do the lake on top of that. And then the final piece to our painting puzzle will be the moon and then the stars. So with that said, go ahead and get your brush wet. And I'm going to get out my blue paint. And
dark blue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The dark blue. And start right up here in the top corner. And when you're painting with acrylic, acrylic paint can dry really quickly. So throughout the painting, the wetter your brush is, not dripping wet, we're not watercoloring here, but the damper your brush is, the easier your paint is going to flow. So just keep that in mind. Keep your brush moist throughout the process, and just start painting that top corner. With acrylic paintings or any kind of painting, it's up to you whether you want to do the sides or not. If you plan to hang the canvas without a frame, it's a good idea to go ahead and paint the sides, but that can be done last after the painting is dried. And it can just be black or whatever solid color you choose. That's something you get to decide on your own. This is really good paint. This is going a long way. Sometimes you never really know if your paint is going to be very opaque or not, and this is covering pretty well. So when you look at the reference picture, you notice the colors go in this direction. So that's mostly the direction we're going to be painting in. I'm going to go ahead and go down about, probably from this top corner, and swoop down. A lot of this will be blended in with other colors. So you can kind of find that gradient and work toward a lighter blue. let's see. I might be about ready to switch into another color. And that you'll kind of notice that you can see that white shining through. For this piece, it kind of works okay because there's a lot of like white blends there already. But if you don't like that look, you can always, this painting works in layers. You can always, since you're at home, you're on your own time schedule, you can let that blue dry a little bit and do another layer if you want to. Because like I said earlier, this video will be viewable after this indefinitely, so come back as much as you need. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull out my light blue color.
How's this looking, Emily?
Great. Kristy likes to act like she's not artistic, but every time she's ever touched any kind of paintbrush or anything around me, I'm amazed. So one of these days I'll convince her she's good at art. I'm going to pull out this light blue color and start just kind of working it in. And you don't want to overwork it, which means over blending, because that'll muddy your colors up. So the least amount of brush work you can do, usually the better, which is easier said than done, but it's a goal. I'm just gonna add more than you think you're gonna need because we're gonna be layering on top of this. And another thing I always like to make sure people realize when they're painting things is that your painting can look like whatever you want it to look like. It's not going to look like mine. It's not going to look like Kristy's. Mine's not going to look exactly like this picture. That's pretty impossible. And that's perfectly okay. Because I don't want my painting to look like Kristy's. I want it to look like mine. And Kristy wants hers to look like hers. That's true. Maybe I do want it to look like Kristy's. Look at her over there just being quiet until she finds an opportunity to roast me. I'm liking the way that's looking okay so far. So I think what I'm going to do next is grab my white out and start to blend this light blue down into white. And we're pretty sure we gave everyone enough paint to get this done. But if you were to run out of a color, that's okay because we're using pretty basic colors here, so you can find replacements at Walmart or Dollar General or maybe even around your home already. So this white is going to absorb this blue really quickly. It'll blend really easy. And please let us know if you like these or what other kinds of things you'd like for us to do. This is our first Facebook Live, as we mentioned earlier. So we can take these in whatever direction y'all want us to take them in, really. I think I'm going to bring my white up. I'm getting a little bit too low here because I still need to account for the water and then the mountains. And the white dips down in the middle, so it's okay that I've gone down this low. But I think I'm going to bring it back up a little bit because I want there to be a good amount of white area there to add this yellow in a minute. And the cool thing about painting is that you don't even have to worry about messing up. It's paint. You can just paint over it. No erasers needed. So my brush has picked up a lot of this light blue. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it out so I can get more of a clear white. So do that as you need to. rinse your brush whenever you need to, not just when I do it. Looking good, Kristy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Learning from the best.
I paid her to say that.
It's true. That money's in my account.
And I think I'm gonna pop back up to the corner and start working on some of the pink and purple and leave this white area to dry a little bit, because I'm gonna add another layer of white on that in a little bit when it's dry. So I'm ready for my pink. These are really blendable paints. They are like really impressing me. They're almost acting like oil paints. So as you see, as I'm adding this pink in, it's the blue is absorbing it pretty quickly. And what you can do in this, when this happens, is take a minute to let it dry a little bit, if you need to. Because y'all are at home, you have the luxury of stopping and going with this video. So if I had that luxury right now, I would probably let this dry for just a second so I could really get this pink to pop. But I also really like the way it's blending in, because in our reference photo, it's pretty blended. So it's really up to you how vibrant you want it to come out in the end. And there's a lot more concentration of that pink color down here on the side. When you're working with acrylic also, sometimes it's a good, cool idea to sit a fan up behind you, because it helps speed that drying process along and you don't have to wait for the lag of it. Usually acrylic paint kind of dries a little bit faster than this. This is really nice paint, actually. This is the first time we've used these. Like I said, we're working in layers, so I can come back in a little bit after I do my mountains and water and pop a little bit more saturated, brighter pink there if I want. I also like to, I worked a little bit of that blue off, but we'll fix that later. Like to come back to work like the next day after you've had some distance from it. That's good with writing, as you probably heard, and the same is true for painting. Let's see. I think I'm gonna start on my purple here. And you know, the night sky changes from one second to the next. So our paintings are not all gonna be identical anyway, because the night sky is never identical. Just have fun with it. This is supposed to, I think you can all agree, we've had kind of a stressful year.
Wow, what happened?
If you couldn't hear, Kristy just said, wow, what happened? She's so funny. I'm so blessed to work with her.
No, it's me. I'm blessed.
We can be both blessed. So this painting is not stressful. This is fun. Don't get caught up in trying to make your art perfect. There's no such thing as perfect art. There's only such thing as your art. And a lot of this will get, oh wow, it's okay. A lot of this will end up getting covered with our mountains a little bit, so as you work your way down, don't get too concerned about detail. We're just blending colors together. You got any comments? We barely even know how to look at the comments, y'all. We don't know what we're doing on this live.
I don't see any yet.
We're learning with you. I think I'm going to pick my pink back up and start working on this bottom section of pink, which blends into this purple pretty well. And something else you can do if you want your colors to be lightened up, of course, is to add white into them. If you want your pink to be a lighter shade of pink, just add some white in there. You can mix that on a plate or whatever. And in this situation, the streakier you make it, almost the better. So don't be afraid of leaving big patches of color. That'll just add texture and look cool. So like, see the difference in like how this is really blended versus this is a little bit less blended? It's up to you which way you will prefer. I kind of like this down here though. I think I'm gonna come back in and add some more streaky lines in my other pink section. When you're doing those streaky lines, you really want to load your brush up with paint, because otherwise it'll just blend right back in. The more paint you got, the more it's going to kind of build up and lay on top of the canvas instead of blending into it. And maybe you don't like that streaky look, but I'm really into it right now, so I'm going with it. Okay. So, now I'll rinse my brush out. And now I think I'm gonna pull my light blue back out, because I've kind of covered up the light blue in the middle here between these two pink purple sections. So I'm going to add more back in. And this is really the fun of it. You just get to decide where you want things to be and how you want things to look and where you want colors to end and stop. This truly is your creation. I really love to paint nature stuff because you really can't go wrong with it. I mean, trees, night skies, these things look like so many different things in real life, and you can make yours look like whatever you want it to look like. And then when you get toward the edges, you can kind of blend things together a little bit.
We have a few comments.
What do they say?
Christina Lawrence says, beautiful.
Thank you, Christina.
Becky Boyer from our office.
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky. Says, you all are awesome. Thank you. You are awesome. And Donna Harris says, my granddaughter's painting along with you, and she's loving it.
Great. I'm so glad to hear that. Please send us pictures of your paintings when they're done. I really, really, really want to see them. We'll share them on the Facebook page for everyone else to see if you want. But if you don't want it to be shared, that's okay too. But I just really want to see them, so please send them in. So I tend to paint realistically, but on an abstract side. So So I really like when things get kind of messy and streaky. I just like that texture that it adds. And that's a personal preference of mine. So if you don't love that, that's okay. Yours can be blended or as unblended as you want it to be. No two people paint alike. Which is, I mean, the coolest part about painting, really. I'm getting pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to come back in with my purple because it has somehow disappeared. And add some more purple in. Wow, we need a fan in here next time. I'm sweaty.
Masks make me sweaty.
Yeah.
It's that hot breath all the time.
I love that sweaty face beard. So I'm going to streak in a little bit purple here. Yeah. And you know, this is just me getting philosophical, that's not even a word, philosophical, there we go, about art, but I've always done art stuff, like since I was a child, but when I started to really love art on a different level was when I stopped trying to make my things look like other things and just made them look like how they looked when I did it. So that's my biggest art advice to anybody is don't get too caught up in perfection. That's just stressful. We don't need to be stressed. So there's not really any purple here, but I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm just adding some there because I want it there. Let's see, I think I'm about ready to pull some yellow out. And everybody paints differently and moves at different paces. So if I'm going faster than you are, no big deal, because you can hit pause or rewatch. My favorite part is going to be the stars and the moon. I can't wait to paint that. I always love it when I get an opportunity to put some splattery little stars on something. We might not splatter in here though because I don't want to get paint on the floor. So I've got another little trick. I can show you an easy way to do that without making a mess. But if you're at home and you want to take your painting outside and splatter some stars on there, you go for it. That'll look awesome. You can do whatever color you want. These stars are white, but you can mix in a little bit of pink, make some pale pink stars. You do whatever you want to with your painting. Ooh, this yellow is popping cool. Add a little bit of yellow down here where the sun sets. And this is blending in really quickly with that blue and turning into a green color, but this is just the bottom layer. And I also kind of like the way that looks anyway, so I'm not too concerned with it. I'm gonna add just a touch of yellow back in here. This is a really well blended reference photo that we're looking at, but like I said earlier, when I paint on my own, I really kind of like when there's like hard streaks of really saturated color, because I just really love that texture. So that's kind of what I'm going for here, because it started to happen on its own and then I really liked it. So you feel free to do that as much or as little as you want. I'm starting to get pretty happy with the way the sky is looking though. Maybe yours is a little bit more blended together, and that's okay. Add a little bit more yellow there. Hopefully y'all can hear us okay. I imagine if you couldn't, you'd said something by now, so. I think what I'm gonna do now is grab my white and start adding in some of these little white streakies here and there. And I'm glancing up at my reference photo every so often, but for the most part, I'm just kind of making a colorful night sky in whatever way it comes out of my brush. Because I don't want to get too hung up and stressed out on making my painting look just like a picture. That's not fun for me. My brush picked up a little bit of yellow and stuck it up there, but that's okay. Let's see, and then I think what I'm gonna do next, kind of blend some of this white in here. I don't know, I might need to wait a little bit. That's pretty wet still. Ooh, pretty.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's a little, I like your texture over there. Mine's a little bit more blended.
See the difference in how mine's a little bit more textured and streaky and hers is a little bit more blended? Paintings all look different. Yours might look more like this, yours might look more like that. Yours might look more like the reference picture. Maybe you're better painters than we are, who knows? That's all okay. Let's see, I think I'm gonna hold off on that white for a minute. And I think what I'm gonna do is pull my blue paint back out and start working on this water. So I'm just gonna make a big rectangle of blue. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I'm getting paint all over my easel, but I guess that's the point of easels, huh?
They look cooler with paint.
Yeah, exactly. And this is probably going to pick up a lot of the color that's underneath. So you can, like I said, you can let yours dry a little bit more before you do this part. Or you can just let it pick up some of that color and blend it in, because it's going to look pretty cool, probably. Because water reflects the colors in the sky anyway. Go up a little bit higher. I'm just gonna keep kind of layering this dark blue on until I get to a level of saturation that I like. I was a little bit worried that y'all would run out of the blue paint for this, but I've got a ton left still. So that means you all probably do too, which is a good thing. I think I'm about happy with that. But also think I'm gonna, this doesn't really show up in the reference painting, but I think what I'm gonna do is add in my light blue a little bit, right in the middle, and add in some of that streakiness. We see that there's white added in there, but I'm gonna put a little bit of this light blue underneath it too, just to add some dimension. So you can do that if you want, if it feels right for you. And I want the water texture to kind of mimic the rest of the texture in this painting, so I'm gonna go back in with my dark blue and kind of add some of that textury, streaky stuff I've been working with. Because if the rest of my painting is kind of streaky and textured, then I don't want one part of it to not be, because it'll just look really flat and dull in comparison. And of course, the more paint you add onto your canvas, the longer it'll take to dry, which is always my problem, because as you can see, I really like to pile it on. Add a little bit more of that light blue in there, just right in the middle. You've all seen the way moonlight or sunlight reflects on water, kind of makes a little streak right down the middle, so that's what we're working toward there. I think we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna make mine a little bit smaller, come out a little bit wider than I wanted to, so I'm gonna add a little bit more dark blue in there and bring her in some. I don't know if I really accomplished my goal there or not, but there, that's looking pretty good. And then I think I'm gonna let that sit for a second and come back and do the white on top of that in a minute. And right now, because we want to do those mountains last, because as soon as we put black on there, we don't want to do too much else, because if we get black mixed in with our other colors, it'll muddy it up real quick. So before I add those mountains, I'm going to come back in here and try to put some more white in here where this sunset is happening. My painting is pretty wet, so it's going to blend right away pretty quick probably. So I'm going to use a real light touch and try not to blend it in too much. If you want to take a little break and let your painting dry a little bit more first, that's okay.
I tried to blow on my painting.
That'll be real effective.
With this mask on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I have committed a terrible crime against art here and have mixed colors right into my white, which is not something I typically like to do. You like to try to keep your white pure and mix it onto another surface, like this plate back here. But I have not picked that up, so here we are. It's okay though. I think I'm going to add a little bit more yellow in right here. Really make this little yellow area pop. I'm going to do it with that white still on my brush, because it's going to, anytime you add white to yellow, it helps make yellow be more opaque. Yellow paint on its own is usually very translucent. So when you add white into it, it helps it to be a little bit more of a solid color. I'm starting to be satisfied with that area there now. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow here just because I felt called to do so. Okay. And I'm gonna step back and just look a little bit. I think I want to add in some more light blue. You want to kind of get your sky and your water as close to what you want it to be before you start to add black in. Yeah, I think I'm going to cover some of this up and add this light blue in. Yeah, I like that. Some people would probably look at my painting and think like, oh my gosh, what a mess. Because it's not very blended. I do really like streaky kind of textured looks in paintings. But that's okay, because that's how I paint, and you paint however you paint. And I think I'm going to grab my dark blue back out and bring this corner back down because I've just about covered it up. Just step back and look and see what your painting is telling you at once. I'm starting to get pretty happy with this sky. Might add in a little bit more streaky blue here and there. Yeah, I think I like that pretty good. So now, if I was at home, what I would do right now probably is step away from this for a minute and let it dry a little. But I am not as lucky as you folks, so I'm gonna keep on going. Just adding in a little bit more water there. Yeah, I think I'm about ready to start on my black mountains. Have you all been swimming in the lakes this summer any around here? I have. A lot of pools weren't open, as you know. But the lakes have been open. Kristy, have you ever swum in a lake?
I have swam in well, no, I've walked in the lake. I can't swim.
Oh, okay.
I can't swim, but I have
You
walked
waded?
Yeah. I've waded in lakes.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my black. Oh, so, ooh, look at you. You already got a moon and everything. She's jumping ahead. Beautiful. Look at that. Kristy, oh my gosh.
Moon action.
So I'm gonna just start. I might have to add a few layers of this black because my canvas is still pretty wet. yours might not be this wet. I've really loaded mine down because that's what I do. And your mountain outline doesn't have to be exactly like the picture. It can be whatever little shapes your brush decides to take. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Sometimes it's kind of heartbreaking to cover up things you worked hard on, but yeah, my canvas is pretty wet, so this black is going to take a couple layers. So I don't know. Kristy's having a better time with her black because her painting is not as wet as mine. We're getting there though.
A blender, I blended a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's coming together.
Yeah. I even so often don't paint when I'm at home because I think about like, oh, how much time it'll take or whatever, or like I think I don't have time. But I don't know how long it's been here. 20 minutes, mate? Does it say on here? I don't see a time.
Oh,
But
about 45.
we've been doing this for 45 minutes?
Mhm.
Wow. I didn't realize that. But that's still shorter than you think it would be.
Yeah.
And really, I kind of like the way it looks with these colors kind of popping in through the black and blending together, so I'm not too worried about that. But you really want to focus on making sure that line, that horizon line, is straight below the water. But that's easy to do. A big blob of black there. I'm trying to move out of the way. And usually when I paint, I don't even like to have black around, because I think it can really muddy your painting up. I like to shade with like dark blues or dark purples or even like a dark red. I usually stay away from black. And you can really easily mix your own black with a bunch of dark colors. If you mix dark blue and dark red together, that'll make a really cool, really dark color that isn't just flat black. Flat black can kind of suck the life out of your painting a little bit if you're not careful. That's not necessarily true for this painting, I'm just speaking in general. We're getting there. I think, now that I've said that, that I am maybe gonna grab my purple and kind of add some of that in around my mountains just to give a little dimension, a little depth. You can do this if you want, or you don't have to. It's up to you. But yeah, right away I already kind of like the way that looks a little bit better. It just gives it a little bit more life. Flat black to me is just kind of boring. You wouldn't know that looking at my closet, but in paintings and stuff, I don't really like flat black too much. But maybe you do. Yeah, I'm just gonna add some little purple streakies in. I like that. Purple Mountains Majesty. Yes. She's coming together. I can't wait to see your all's paintings. You have to send them in, please. You can message them on Facebook. You can email them. If you picked up one of our little kits, then you've got a little leaflet with the email address on it. But if not, you can send them to me at emilyknelson@uky.edu. You can find that on the website too if you want to go find our website. You can find our email addresses on there. And we will share them with the world if you want. Or you can just share it with us. That's fine too. I'm getting pretty happy with that. I love how different our paintings are. I love how in painting classes everyone's looks a little bit different. Whoop, that was a drop of water. That would have been terrible. So I think I'm about ready for my last steps here. And you can paint the moon with your brush if you want, but I usually like to do little circles with my finger because it just takes way less effort, and you can probably get a better circle with your finger than with a brush. So use your brush, or you can use your finger like me.
Oh, that's neat.
I've about made my moon too big already.
Michaela says, beautiful, loving this.
Thank you, Michaela. I'm so glad you're watching. So, if you have your reference picture, you can see that this outer ring around the moon is a little bit lighter than the actual moon. So, if your canvas is not as dripping wet as mine, that was easier to achieve. But I'm just going to try to blend my moon out and keep going in those circles. And see, now it's kind of like a big glowy kind of circle. Blend it in with this blue really well. And then I'm going to take another finger and go back in and do that bright moon circle on top. That bright white moon circle. And you might need to come back and do a couple layers when it's dry to really get that to pop. But I'm getting pretty happy with that. And, oh, my brush is in the floor. Now, we just have stars and water reflections left. So really just, if you want to take your painting outside, or if you have somewhere safe where you can do some splatter situation, go crazy with those stars and splatter away. But I do not have that, so I'm just going to do some little dots. And sometimes I have found that when you're using the front of your brush to do stars or like highlights and eyes or whatever, it's hard sometimes to get that really precise little dot. So sometimes I like to just use the back of my brush, just the tip, the handle, and that's going to give you really hard little circles. The skinnier your brush, the better. This one's a little bit big for what I'm describing, but I like that. It gives you a little bit more control. And I think I'm gonna even add in maybe like some yellow stars and stuff, because like I can do whatever I want to my painting. I think I'm gonna add in some of this light blue too. Do a couple of those. Yeah, I like that, especially on that dark blue. Ooh, so cool. This is so fun. And then we just, you gotta add a couple little reflections, sparkles down in that water. Add a couple little dots and some streaks. There's nothing quite like light reflecting on water. It just looks like magic. And I'm about happy with this. I might, my hands are already gommed up. I don't know why I'm trying to use my left hand, but so far, a little sunset section just to help make that pop a little bit more. I think we've about got it. You can play around with yours as much as you want and go wild with it. I think after mine dries a little bit more, I might come back in and hit that moon again with some brighter white. Right now it's blending away pretty quick, but I still like the way it looks. So yeah, I can't wait to see how yours have turned out. Look how gaumy my hands are. Do you all get this messy when you paint? I think I'm gonna add one long line across this, between the mountains and the water. And it kind of brushed away and picked up that yellow underneath, but I kind of like that too, so I'm okay with that. Remember how at the beginning of this I said don't overwork your painting? That's exactly what I'm about to start doing. So I better stop soon. I am gonna add a little bit more black right here. And add a little bit more purple because I've covered it up some. Let us know how yours turned out. Please send us pictures. Add in a little bit more blue around the edges and the bottom. I think I'm about ready to call it quits. How you going, Kristy?
I feel like I'm just about there.
Yeah.
I'm working with this one little patch that I shouldn't have gone back on.
That always happens. That's exactly what I've been doing the past 3 minutes too. But with that said, I think I am ready to call it a day. I don't know. It's easy to keep on working on things. And I have fully turned this into a finger painting project. Send us pictures of your hands too if they look anything like this. Ooh, I love yours.
Thanks. I like yours.
Yeah.
Yours is textured. So
Let's
here's
put
our
some-
finished projects.
Here's mine. There's Kristy's. Wow, this was so fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And like,
And
this was pretty much like the amount of time a lunch break takes.
mhm.
And we just made a painting. That's pretty cool. This is a good reminder for me to paint more often. It's not that big of a time consumer. My goodness. Oh, this
It's
was so
relaxing.
fun. Yeah. Oh, I'm so relaxed. I almost feel like I had a massage. So yeah, let us know how you like this. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. I had a lot of fun. Did you? I'm
Yeah,
sure
it was a
you
lot of
did.
Let us know what kind of things you'd like to do, and we can pull that together too.
Yeah. So my hands are covered in paint. I can't stop this video. Maybe you're better luck than I am.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So yeah, with that said, thank you all so much for joining us today. This was so fun.
It was.
Let us know how your paintings went. Please send them in so we can show them off and brag on you. And have a beautiful weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.